Welcome everyone to the live web series Music is Life, brought to you by the Uplift Boost Podcast. I'm your host D. In the year 2017, right? So let's go and get to this thing real quick. Fun fact: on January 1st, a gunman dressed as Santa Claus opens fire at the Vienna nightclub in Istanbul, Turkey, killing 39 people and injuring 79 others. On January 27th, U.S. President Donald Trump issued Executive Order 13769, commonly referred to as the Trump Muslim Travel Ban, banning travel and immigration from 7 Muslim majority nations. Protests against the immigration order erupt nationwide for about 2 weeks. On March 3rd, Nintendo released the Switch worldwide. On August 25th through the 30th, Hurricane Harvey strikes the United States as a Category 4 hurricane, causing catastrophic damage to the Houston metropolitan area, mostly due to the record-breaking floods. At least 108 deaths are recorded, and total damage reaches $125 billion, making Harvey the costliest natural disaster in United States history, tied with Hurricane Katrina in 2005. On September 26th, Fortnite Battle Royale is released. On October 1st, 6 people are killed and 867 more were injured. Stephen Paddock opens fire on a crowd in Las Vegas, surpassing the 2016 Orlando nightclub shooting as the deadliest mass shooting perpetrated by a lone gunman in U.S. history. On November 5th, Sutherland Springs church shooting occurred when the gunman opens fire in the Baptist church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, United States, killing 26 people and injuring 20 more. It was the deadliest shooting in an American place of worship in modern history, surpassing the Charleston church shooting in 2015 and the Waldo Buddhist temple shooting of 1991. Notable deaths for the year of 2017 was Della Reese, Chuck Berry, Al Jarreau, Mary Tyler Moore, Fats Domino, Don Rickles, Charles Manson, boxer Jake LaMotta, Hugh Hefner, Jerry Lewis, Jim Nabors, Queens rapper, Lamar Beat Prodigy, Charlie Murphy, and the great Dick Gregory. And those are your fun facts for 2017. All right. 2017, as y'all can tell by the fun facts, right, was a lot of death, which is pretty much the same for every year that's going on in America, as I would say probably the last 15 years or so, probably even more than that. I mean, we've been in a country that's been just out of control. My opinion, the president doesn't help, but that's neither here nor there. We want to keep this lighthearted and focus more so on music than we do politics. So our intro music for the week was Jay-Z's The Story of OJ from his 444 album that dropped. So let's go ahead and get straight into rap. 2017, man, it was an interesting year for us music all around. We had a lot of big albums drop. A lot of them, to me, in my opinion, wasn't great, but we did have some quality music. Now, granted, take with a grain of salt that I'm an older gentleman, so I look for, like, I want to kind of say not golden era of hip hop, but stuff in that time frame. I like some of the newer music that's coming out, but I relate more to what I grew up with, which is pretty much everybody. So let's get into these albums. Honorable mentions for the year was Migos. They dropped their Culture One album. We had As I said, Jay-Z dropped his 444 album. We had 2 Chainz dropped his what was it? Pretty Girls Love Trap Music. Kodak Black dropped Painting Pictures. Right? So we had a lot of music that dropped. A lot of artists that dropped. Let's say honorable mention was one of my honorable mentions was Wale with his Shine project. You know, the MMG artist. You know, this project has some good joints on there to me, man. I wouldn't say it's his best project, but it's by far his worst project. It's by far not his worst project, I should say. I mean, I'm a Wale fan, man. He makes quality music. He's very lyrical, in my opinion, and he's gonna give you lyricism with wit. You know what I'm saying? The metaphors as well as current day punchlines. So he has songs like Fashion Week on there that I was really feeling, featuring G-Eazy. He had Running Back on there with Lil Wayne. And then he had PYT, well, my PYT with Sam Sneak. Fashion Week probably being my favorite song off the project. But if you haven't heard it, the honorable mention for the week is Wale. Check with his Shine project. Check it out. So, okay, yeah, let's start from the bottom to the top. So coming in at 5 for the week was Detroit native Big Sean with his I Decided project. I like Big Sean, man. I wasn't always the hugest Sean fan, but Sean can rap to me, right? Sean was on that in my opinion, on that level right outside of the big three. He's the second tier, so you know that whole group of class, which was Dre, Kendrick, and Cole, who made the big three, and to me, right under them was Big Sean and Wale. That was the tier right under them to me. So he dropped this was his 4th album on Good Music, you know, and he had the singles like Delight on there that I was really feeling. I pretty much like a little over half the project, but like I said, you had Delight, which was a dope song featuring him and Jeremiah. You had Bounce Back that I was really feeling that. What's to say about? There's not really much I can say, but Bounce Back, dope track. I really love the track. I love his lyrics. Probably the lyrical standout on that to me was the song with No Favors with M. You know what I'm saying? The 2 Detroit artists hooked up. I believe this is the first time hooking up. I could be wrong, but I probably need to fact check that later on. But Big Sean did this thing, and M spazzed as always. Another song that I really liked off that track was Moves. You know what I'm saying? He really got into his bag on that, man. Sean, I like how he switches his flows up in the middle of his rhyme sometimes. He'll start out slow, then he'll speed it up, and he'll stutter stack it, and then just flip. You know what I'm saying? Sean dope, bro. Like I said, he also had a song, and I forgot the name of it. I forgot the name of it right now, but featuring Janae, like he does a lot with his 2088s project. I mean, group they have, but overall, solid project. Coming in at 4 for the week. Debut album of an Atlanta artist, man. Like, he's been behind the scenes for the longest time as a ghostwriter. He don't, in my opinion, he don't get credit for being one of the top tier lyricists in the game. And even I just overlooked when I was saying who's on that second tier level. I put him in a group of his own, but he's definitely on that level where he could be considered lyrically. He's definitely with the big three, in my opinion. But because he don't have the accolades and the albums to back it up, he's not mentioned. Definitely not going to be mentioned on that group. And the artist I'm speaking about is Saha the Prince. He dropped his debut album titled No Dope on Sundays. Right? Saha is incredible. Throughout this whole project, he puts on a lyrical masterpiece. Like from top to bottom, from the opening track, which is one of probably, if not my favorite, my second favorite track off the project. And it's called Amen. It's the intro. Saha just goes in from the moment it starts. It just goes in. Another song I really love off this project is the title track, No Dope on Sundays, where he talks about how you gotta have some type of code, like, and that was something he played around with. That was something when he was in the streets, him and guys of his caliber and his friends, you can hustle every day. It's not on Sundays. Sundays is the rest day, the Lord day. You do no dirt on Sundays. You clean, you leave it be. Um, my favorite track outside of Amen was That Side, featuring Kanye West. I give Kanye a hard time. Um, and in my opinion, rightfully so. I'm not a fan of his, especially anymore. Early in his career, yes. But from time to time, because he has ghostwriters, he comes through with incredible guest verses. And this was another one. Um, he did shortchange. Saha probably wrote the verse, but it wasn't shortchange. The song is dope. Uh, last song I want to mention off this one was New Africa. The title tells you pretty much what the song is about. So, with that being said, is again coming in at 4 this week, Saha the Prince with his No Dope Old Sundays debut project. Number 3 for the week. Another artist I'll also hold on that same level with, Wale, Sean, Saha. Mississippi artist, not my first time having him make the list, so I'm not going to stretch it out too much. So, number 3 for the week is the boy Big Crit, the country cousin, with his Forever's a Mighty Long Time album. Crit, just dope. Dope, dope, dope. Puts on dope shows too, man. Believe I've seen Crit perform maybe twice now in my lifetime, and I was impressed every time, man. Crit is a phenomenal artist. He's a phenomenal producer and rapper, lyricist. This was a double CD for him, right? His first one since leaving Def Jam back in 2016. He opened like, let's see, I don't know what his original single was, but he had a lot of dope tracks on there. My personal opinion, the ones I connected to the most, or that I like the most, I like this one a lot more than I like this two. But that's not saying that this two wasn't a dope project. So, like joints I kind of was feeling like he had Big Bank on there featuring T.I. They work well together in my opinion. Their voices and their tonalities and the slickness of the things, how they rap, they balance off each other well. So Big Bank, dope track. He had Get Up to Come Down. I was really feeling. Excuse me. Featuring CeeLo Green and Sleepy Brown. Sleepy Brown is a slept on person to me. I really like Sleepy Brown, right? So to hear his vocals on a song always brings joy to me, as well as when him and CeeLo Green get together, and it just matches perfectly. That beat with Crit's laid back demeanor and flow, all of it was in pocket, perfect. He also had Ox Court off this project that I was really feeling what he's talking about. Just self-explanatory. Just past the Ox Court, like he said in the hook. Just past the Ox Court. You know what I'm saying? Whoever was in control of the music gonna set the tone of what goes on, and like sometimes you just gotta pass the Ox Court to the next person. Get the right vibe. Getaway, dope track. Remind me something that would be like what Raphael Sadiq and Tony would do. Dope. And probably my favorite joint off this project was Keep the Devil Off. Lord be my witness, you gotta keep the devil off. He tell you exactly what it is. That hook, crazy. Beat, crazy. His flow, pap, man. He took you to church. He took you to church. So again, Big Crit, Forever's a Mighty Long Time, number 3 for the week. All right, coming in at 2. Definitely not my favorite artist. By far, he's not my favorite artist. But I think he gets a bad rap by a lot of people. Before I go into the whole Don trial, number two for the week is Rick Ross with the Rather You Than Me. Ross, in my opinion, like I've said before, very dope artist, one of the best beat pickers in rap, period, ever, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't like him, especially because he'll never live down that CO thing. He's not. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. But it's not gonna stop me from listening to good music. As long as he's putting out good quality music, I'm gonna be with it. So, Rather You Than Me. So my favorite song was probably Santorini, Greece. I love that beat. I love I love things that are a little outside the box sometimes, right? Like Santorini, Greece is one of those beats where it relied heavy. It leaned more on the horns, the horn section, than it did the percussion section, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that was a sample that was in it, but it hit. It hit his tonality, hit his flow. Ross is very well of picking his pockets. He does very well of picking his pockets and just giving you what he feel like giving you. I liked how he gave. I like the song "Game Ain't Based on Sympathy." Um, it stands. Its acronym GABOS. That's what it stands for. Game Ain't Based on Sympathy. Ross is one of those guys. Idols become rivals. Dope track. This is Birdman diss, right? Where he's telling Birdman how he feel about Bird based off how he treated Wayne during that whole issue where Wayne was having to sue him for money or whatnot. Um, they flipped that beat, the Dynasty beat, Jay and Beanie Siegel, the Daddy Where Have You Been? He went in on that man, gave that man solid verses, talking about how he used to believe him with his fake watches and jewelry and how he treated Wayne was wrong. I mean, during that time frame, a lot of people started actually catching on to how they or vocalizing how they felt about Birdman. Like Pusha T was one of the very first ones to talk about how Birdman acted, but people always looked at him as crazy and the outsider. But Ross did it, and people kind of took on to it. Um, Dead Presidents, another song with him and Jeezy that was hard off the project. It also had Future on that mud too. Um, the couple songs that Ross and Jeezy did together, in my opinion, they've had a couple misses. It was more like a 50-50 with those two. They're both talented musicians or artists, I should say. So you never know what you're gonna get. But it's cool. Rather You Than Me, solid project. Not I didn't like every song, but I like majority of the project. Not my favorite Ross song album, but it's in my top three maybe. But that's what it is. Number one for the week. It's probably the biggest album that came out that year. And it was Kendrick Lamar with his damn project. It was his what third major worldwide known project, but his fourth studio project. So on this project, I was really feeling DNA, Element, Humble. Humble was I don't want to say Humble not my favorite joint. It's probably my third favorite song off that project. Definitely one of the singles. Uh, it was kind of marketed low key as a Big Sean diss. Why I don't know what issue they was having, but that's kind of what DNA was my favorite joint on there. I like how the beat flipped and he just went in and bugged out. My second favorite track off there was Duckworth. I love the storytelling he put on there. Talk about how he met Top Dog, uh, how his family moved from Chicago to Cali. Well, his parents or whatnot, and you know the whole situation between how his how Top and his dad interaction prior to him being born or him just being born, still being a kid or whatnot, and he lays out the whole story of the things that happened between them and how Top wanted to rob the KFC that his dad was working at and possibly kill him. But his dad knew he was Top being a gang member and being a guy in the streets. He used to give Top free food. And that's kind of what kept Top off of him. And then later on in life led to Kendrick and Top working together. So, interesting story, man. Interesting story. Dope storytelling, bro. Dope storytelling. So, recap for hip hop rap for the week. Coming in at 1 was Kendrick Lamar's Damn Project. 2 was Rick Ross's Rather You Than Me. 3 was Big Crit Forever's a Mighty Long Time. 4 was Side the Prince with No Dope on Sundays. And 5 was Big Sean I Decided, with honorable mention being Wale Shine Project. Okay. R&B. R&B had a lot going on, man. It really did. It had a lot going on. So, we're not going to hold it back too long. We had some honorable mentions where the boy T-Pain dropped a project that year titled Oblivion. Snow Allegra, for those who don't know her music, dropped her Fields project. She's a dope artist, man. If y'all not up on her, y'all check her out, man. But she dropped her Fields project. Miguel dropped his War and Leisure project that year as well. Bryson Tiller dropped his second project, I believe, his True to Self project. And a favorite of mine, the guy Kevin Ross. He dropped his The Awakening project. Kevin Ross, dope artist, man. Dope artist. Y'all check him out. Let's go ahead and get straight to it. Coming in 5 for the week was her with her project. It was a compilation album actually. It comprised of her Volume 1 and Volume 2 EPs, and it also included 6 new songs. It was released on RCA, man. The joints I really love off there was Avenues. Dope song. Say It Again. It's dope. Focus. Every Kind of Way. Very, very, very good project. She also had Best Part on her, featuring the boy Daniel Caesar. That song right in particular, it hits close and it meant a lot to me. It was a real big song. It was actually the song that me and my wife used at our wedding for our first dance. So that song has a sentimental value to me. So at 5 for the week, as I said, was her. 4, a gentleman that my wife put me on, right? I wasn't familiar with his work. This was his first project that I ever heard. So it was very, very refreshing. And this is by the artist PJ Morton with his Gumbo project. And that's 4 for the week. New Orleans native. It was his 4th album. His first independent album on his own label, Morton Music. I want to say, is that the first song? I'm not certain it's the first song, but he had a song on there called First Begun that really, really, really dope. Really, really, really dope. My favorite song on there by far is Claustrophobic, which was his single for the project. Features the artist Pale. I think that's how you pronounce the name, Pell, Pale. but dude, dude gave a quality verse. Quality verse. There's nothing gangster about just quality verse, right? Fits perfect. Video's dope. Everything about that track is dope. Like I say, my favorite song. He also had Everything's Gonna Be Alright on there, featuring BJ Chicago Kid and the Hamiltons, right? For anybody who've ever heard of those gentlemen, the Hamiltons was the group that the artist Anthony Hamilton helped start. Dope project. It's not a long project. Not a long project. It's very concise, straight to the point. I believe it's only 9 songs on there. All quality songs. All quality songs. Go check it out, man, if y'all not up on the project. But that's 4 for the week. PJ Morton with his gumbo. 3. Debut album by a young lady. Not gonna beat around it. TDE representative number 3 for the week is SZA with her Control project. SZA, as of right now, is under scrutiny due to her falling out with Manager Punch and her Twitter war that she's going back and forth with Nicki Minaj right now. What caused this? I have no clue. But they're up at it right now. Nicki is really tweeting left and right about her. I'm not going to speculate, but Nicki has said the girl can't sing, but yet Nicki has reached out on multiple cases to get features from her. So you take that with a grain of salt. But at any rate, Control was SZA's debut album. Solid project. I actually wrote down I liked actually half of it, 7 out of 14 tracks. My favorite song on there was probably Broken Clocks. Why, I'm not sure, but dope song. It just actually hit me. It hit me and I connected with it, man. She had Love Galore as a single featuring the boy Travis Scott. Dope song, dope marriage of the song. Travis gave a quality verse. She did her thing on there as well. Beat hit, everything was in pocket. She had The Weeknd. That's another single and dope song. The Weeknd, interesting. By now, I believe most people have heard it, but if not, she's on the song. She talks about embracing being the side chick. Not only embracing being the side chick, she's embracing talking to the main chick and telling the main chick that, you know what I'm saying, you have them certain days, I have them on the weekend. You know what I'm saying, I get him Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you take him the rest of the week. She also goes to say that if he's not happy at home, he can come see her on a Wednesday, Thursday. She's going to be there for him to give him what he needs. Bold statement. It's something that you don't hear too many young ladies sing about or even discuss. But I applaud her for being honest if that's her truth, speaking truth. A lot of people not going to see it that way, but hey, man, it is what it is. Dope song, dope concept, something out the ordinary, and I feel it. So that's SZA with her Control project. At 2 for the week, it's an artist that I liked a lot. I liked her a lot, man. Ex-member, Destiny's Child. This is where she got her start for his fame in the music game. LaToya Luckett, right? With her Back to Life project. 10 out of the 13 songs I liked. Any other week, that high count would have been number 1. But I will get to the number 1. This was her first album. It was actually her third album release. It was released on E1 Music Entertainment. It was her first as an independent artist after leaving Capitol. She did her first 2 albums on Capitol. As I said, this was her third album. It was her first album in 8 years. She had to take a break to get herself together for us with her family, her kids, whatever she was going through, and get herself in position for her to release her album. Y'all got to go listen to that project, man, because I'm at a loss for words for it because it was that dope to me. Show Me, crazy. Middle, the joint Gray featuring Luda, In the Name. Those are just some of the joints on that, man. It's like I said, I'm at a loss for words because I really love this project. And me as a male, I don't really gravitate to too many female artists, whether it be hip hop or R&B, only because I don't necessarily believe their music is catered to where men are feel inclusive to their music. Most artists, like if anyone who knows me knows that Mary J is my all time favorite female artist for his R&B, and then Jill Scott's right behind her because they used to make music. Well, Jill Scott still does, but both of them, the reason why I like them because they made music that transcended gender. Their songs didn't always cater towards just females, and I think that's what a lot of female artists do. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but in my opinion, makes it hard for them to get a strong male fan base. But they can definitely um, survive off just a female fan base. I would think, not for certain, so don't quote me, but I think more females buy music than males. Just my experience of what I've seen personally, that's what I get. So that's the reason why I have a hard time relating to female music. But this project was one of the ones, man. She gave me Jill Scott. She gave me a Mary J. Blige project. You know what I'm saying? So this was probably out of her three albums. I would say this is probably my favorite LeToya Luckett project out of her three projects. Not my favorite. I don't think my favorite song is on this project from her, but it's definitely my favorite project from her, and that's saying a lot, man. So LeToya Luckett coming in at one for the week as we wrap this up. The big dog, man. The boy C Breezy with his heartbreak on the full moon. The boy had a lot to say on this project. It was his 8th studio album, double disc, 45 songs. 45. You heard it. 45. I meant to look it up, but I did not. For some reason, I forgot. I want to say this is probably the longest album in history. I can't think of anything that had more songs. But it was released on Halloween. It said the recording sessions for it took about 2 years. It took him 2 years to do it. He made it to make it even worse. After giving you the 45, he released the 12-song deluxe version of it a month later after it dropped. This project had hits like Privacy on it. He had Party with Gucci and Usher. He had Pills and Automobile on there. Tempo, Sleeper Joint. Tempo hard, as well as Grass Ain't Greener. He had Sip on there. To My Bed. He had a song on there called Pull Up on there. That beat was crazy, bro. That beat was crazy. It's a lot of music to listen to. I'm pretty sure most people have heard like a good half of the songs. It take a lot to listen to 45 songs. I ain't gonna lie. I haven't even listened to every song, and it's 8 years later. To this day, I still haven't heard every song, but I've heard over 30 of them. Probably, I take it back. I probably have heard all of them. All of them just don't stick out of my head, all 45. That's a lot of music to process. But he did it, y'all. He did it. So, I'm gonna wrap this up and close it out and give you a quick recap of R&B. Number one for the week was Chris Brown, Heartbreak on a Full Moon. Number two was Latoya Luckett, the Houston native, with her Back to Life project. 3 was SZA with her debut album Control. 4 was PJ Morton with his fourth album titled Gumbo. And 5 was her with a HER compilation. And that, with honorable mentions, the boy Kevin Ross with The Awakening, T-Pain's Oblivion, Snore Allegra Fields, Miguel's, Ward, Leisure, and Bryson Tiller's True to Self. All right. I appreciate y'all for checking this out. Still rocking with me for those who actually still tune in and check these live videos, whether it be on Facebook or Twitch, as well as going and watching it off of YouTube and catching the clips and the edited versions of these. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna finish round it all the way out to 2024, maybe 25, and I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna eventually start dropping just the audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. So for those who don't like watching video versions and just want to sit back and just play them as they cruise in the car, drive from point A to point B, listen to them, the audio version, you're going to be able to get these soon. I'm going to upload all these real soon. But appreciate y'all for rocking out with me. Catch y'all next time when I do 2018. Peace.